So guys, I'm absolutely buzzing about sharing this series with you, and I've taught a bunch of people this stuff on how to master the muscle up. So we're going to be looking at bar muscle ups in this progression series. Once again, we're going to be doing 3 parts. So the first video, we're going to be looking at strength and how strength is required for the muscle up, of course. We then look at the conditioning and the mechanics of the muscle up, your body and the way your body moves to clear that obstacle. And then in the third, we're going to take those 2 things and we're just going to look at connection. How do you take everything you've learned and apply it enough and fail enough times to get your first muscle up. And so once again, we're going to be looking at themes. Now, the theme of this first video is just thinking of the muscle up as clearing an obstacle. That is basically all a muscle up is. It's getting from A to B. All right, so at this point, of course, I'm assuming that you know how to do pull-ups well and that you know how to do dips, because basically what a muscle up is a combination of a pull-up and a dip. There's just that little point in the middle called the transition. That's what we're going to have to figure out through this series. And let me tell you one thing as well before we go into it is there is no one way of learning this stuff. I'm going to show you the progressions, but eventually it's going to come to the point where you get your first muscle up, and it was because something happened. We're going to look at that one thing later on. When you find out what that one thing is, you've mastered the muscle up. 2 types of pull-ups that I want you to work on. You need to be able to do 5 to 10 pull-ups where you can get your chin over the bar, and then a further 5 to 10 reps where you can get your chest up to the bar. Same thing with dips, but because the dip is easier, we're going to be doing 10 to 20 parallel dips and then 10 to 20 straight bar dips. And so what we're going to look at is 2 drills. Now I call the first one the football kick and then the headbutt. Okay, so it's like basically kicking a football and heading a football. So if you want to step back a little tiny bit, you need to see my whole body here. We're not actually going to do the full muscle up here, but we're just going to do the first part of it. So from that dead hang position, you're just going to kick the hips upwards and imagine you're kicking that football. Now, in an emphasized muscle up, you'll see people do this, which is absolutely fine for learning, but you want to you don't want to learn that too much because you're using so much energy to do that. So we're going to actually use it just for the first bit. Imagine there's a football coming down this way now. We're going to kick our hips up and hollow our body out and kick that football. Once again, if you want to come a little bit closer, just around here, kick up, and try and hang up there for as long as we can. Because when we're using our hips in the muscle up, that's basically what we need to be able to header that football, okay? So we need to work on that thing here. Allow your hips to pop your hips up and kick that football out in front. The next thing we're going to look at then is heading the football. Now, a good way to simulate this would be on the bar, but we're not actually going to look at that until the second video. So for now, we're just going to bring in some Olympic rings here. Okay, look at my body right now. My legs are nice and bent, and all I'm going to do is pull myself up to those rings, tuck those rings to my side, and headbutt a football. So that football's coming up, headbutt. Okay, very important that you're not just coming to here. You're coming forward and landing. Look where my elbows are right now, George. If you want to come up a little closer and stay there, I'm going to pull up, headbutt, forward, okay? So you'll actually see this in the ring muscle up. On the gymnastics ring here, you'll see it on the bar as well, okay? So once again, your limiting factor here with the muscle up is you didn't kip up enough or you didn't headbutt forward enough. You see many people, they get to this point here and they're trying to come over and they're just not getting anywhere. It's because they went over to the side, they didn't headbutt forward. So eventually what you're going to see is that kip and that combination up, headbutt, and press. And that gives you the full muscle up.